I used to think that happiness was a mindset that you had to build and develop over time in order to feel more of it in your life. But I discovered that happiness is just simply a fleeting and temporary emotion that doesn't last forever. And focusing on something else more important will actually bring more happiness and more peace in your life than you could ever expect. I feel like in today's society, we're being appropriated to this culture of instant gratification. I see it with my kids, especially with games and apps that they play. But you also see it prevalent in social media where, they're constantly bombarding us with ideals of this is what happiness should look like and feel like. And you need to get there quick or else you're missing out. Like it gives you a lot of anxiety and depression. It's one of the reasons why I actually cut off Facebook and Instagram earlier this year, and since then I've just felt more at peace, not having that noise in my life. But it's a challenge that's very real. I think a lot of us who are very goal oriented, who are trying to work on ourselves, who are trying to get to that next stage in our life, leveling up. It's this constant thought that if when I get there, when I get to that destination, or when I can get that thing, or when I can accomplish this goal, I'll be happy. And just even in saying that, when you look at that whole process, that means that until you achieve that goal or until you get that thing, you'll never be happy. And so what happens in between? And that's why I feel like this pursuit of happiness that we're all on always leads to disappointment, because it's like a false expectation that, like, once you get that thing, that now you can finally just breathe and relax and now you'll be happy for the rest of your life. That's completely false. And there's two examples in my life where I really learned this lesson, and one of which is my fitness journey. Like 5 years ago, when I started working out at the gym, I had some goals that I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to lose weight, and I also wanted to accomplish a particular aesthetic, like a boxer aesthetic. I didn't want to get like massively huge like a bodybuilder, but I wanted to have, just a ripped and cut lean body, just like a boxer. And within my first year, I accomplished quite a bit. I was able to lose 40 pounds. I was like 220 overweight, out of shape. So I did lose a lot of weight, but I also inadvertently lost a lot of muscle. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was counting calories, but I wasn't tracking macros properly, and I actually ended up losing muscle. So I was actually quite skinny, to the point where my brother actually told me, like, "Hey man, like, you're looking gaunt." And when I looked in the mirror, when he said that, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like my cheeks were sunken in. I was looking a little ripped. Yeah, I had a bit of a six pack back then, but I was not even close to the level of like bulkiness or thickness that I wanted to have. And I'm so grateful for my brother. He's the one who inspired me to get on this fitness journey. He's been on this for like over 10 years. And he was telling me that, like, it takes quite a long time to build lean muscle. And if you're not using any enhancements or any gear, doing it the natural way, and especially at my age at 40, it takes quite a bit of time. So I was disappointed when, I started to realize, oh my gosh, like, in order to get there, it's probably going to take quite a long time. But I stuck on the path, and I'm 5 years into this, and now I'm getting closer to the physique that I'm looking for. I have the broadness that I want. I have the thickness, the muscle mass, the density that I've always been looking for. And now it's just continuing to refine my caloric intake, so that way I can get lean, I can cut, is what they call it. And I'm going to try to get a six pack by Christmas. So, I share that particular example because anybody who's gone on a fitness journey, you've probably experienced goal setting and having to reset those goals when you realize that, sometimes maybe you set it too aggressively, or maybe perhaps, there's some things in life that have happened that prevented you from reaching that goal. And so there's always this sense of disappointment when you have to kind of readjust your expectations and readjust your trajectory. And so, it always made me feel like, well, I can't be happy until I can reach that physique. But in reality, 5 years into this, I'm actually content with where I'm at. I'm content with the progress that I've made. I'm content with the fact that I've built my routine up to the point where I am consistent with the gym 5 days a week. I don't miss it. I do take a week off every 3 months, but outside of that, pretty much consistent 5 days a week, lifting weights and hitting the gym on a regular basis. And because of that consistency, I've been able to build and develop myself to the point where I'm in a very similar size and aesthetic to some of the other guys that like have been doing this for quite some time. I used to admire these guys at the gym, thinking like, oh my God, when am I gonna get there? And now these are the same men who are coming up to me and saying, hey, big guy, looking good. And I'm starting to get compliments, that my reality is giving me feedback and indicating to me that yes, I am on that path, and I am achieving what I set out to achieve. I'm not at the end goal yet, but the most important takeaway is really that level of content. And being in a state of content, for me anyways, I define that as like peaceful happiness. Like, I'm not at this point trying to focus so hard on getting to that end goal. I know that as long as I stay on this path, because I've experienced it for the past 5 years, that the result will come naturally. That happiness is going to come when I finally hit that at whatever point in time that it's going to arrive. But more importantly, being focused on where you are today with how everything is, being present in the moment, as they say, um, gives you a sense of peace and content that is more sustainable than chasing happiness, if that makes sense. I also see this in my dating journey. I really want to find that next person that I can share experiences with in this next chapter. I'm a romantic at heart. I think a lot of us are. And, over the past few years, I was fortunate to date two women that have given me some of the best dating experiences, the best connections, and experiences around intimacy that I've had yet in my life. And although they both ended, for different reasons, but it ended amicably. I'm very grateful and content with what I was able to gain so far over the past 5 years, because if anything, it just indicates to me that yes, I am capable of dating again. I can bring value to a relationship. I can be the lover that I want to be, which is something that I was never confident in. Um, and that there's more in store for me later on in life as long as I stay on this path. And so being content, I feel, is should be the focal point of your life, because happiness is temporary. Happiness is a consequence of you reaching a certain accolade, getting to a certain goal. It could be triggered by an event, but it's always temporary. Whereas being in a state of contentment where you're content with just where you're at in life and how everything is, and that everything is as it should be, you actually are in a state of peace. Instead of this chaotic chase for something that you don't know if it's going to come at the time that you want it to. You know what I mean? So being focusing more on content is more sustainable and more important at this point, and it's the only way that will allow you to bring more happiness into your life on a consistent basis. And there's a couple ways that you can start to develop your level of content on a daily basis. Number one is adopting a gratitude practice. I'm going to share a link to the video at the end of this video, to a video that I created around gratitude and how it can bring more abundance into your life. So check that out. But the whole point around gratitude is that it's something you do on a regular basis. I choose to do my gratitude prayers in the morning, and it really gets you to focus on everything that you currently have in your life and to be grateful for it, whether it be the place that you live, that gives you a roof over your head, that gives you a safe place to sleep, a place to clean yourself, a place to bond together with your family and with your friends. Whether that be some of the possessions that you have, like a car that allows you to travel from point A to point B safely every single day. Could be all the food that you have in your fridge and in your pantry that allows you to nourish your body and stay healthy. It could be, all of the friends and family who love and support you every single step of your life journey. Being grateful every single day will help you stay in the present moment and feel content, because you'll realize that you actually have more than you think. We actually are very lucky here in North America with some of the privileges that we have, being in these countries, and we should be very grateful for being able to have just even the bare necessities to survive. There's some people who are living in countries that are living in fear, who are actually at war right now. Thank God, and I pray for those people, but we're not in that situation. So having a daily gratitude practice will help you stay content. And the other thing I'll share with you, and this is what I'll always preach, is getting on a fitness journey will help you feel more content on a regular basis. It's one of those things where, when you're on this for a while, you start to see results, physical changes that will indicate to you that if you're on the right path and if you're on the right trajectory. And although you're not at the end result yet, the fact that you can visually see your body changing as you work on your body, as you lose fat, as you build lean muscle, and you start building that aesthetic, it gives you momentum to keep going on that path. And you'll be more content because you'll be able to see regularly the progress that you make. So I always recommend, if ever you're going to go on a fitness journey, take progress photos at every single month. And then when you look back, even in 6 months, you can see how much change has happened, and it's enough to give you enough momentum to keep going on and pursuing your dream body that you set out to achieve. And so those are two practices that I highly recommend to bring more content into your life, to feel more content. And in time, just realize that happiness will come. And because you're focusing more on the present moment, you will continue on the path. It's easier to stick on the path, and happiness will just be a natural consequence, because it's just a matter of time before the thing that you want or the goal that you want to achieve will be accomplished. So I hope this finds you at the right time, and I hope this inspires you to go on your path to discover what makes you content and to adopt some of these practices. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.